AITA for not sharing my inheritance with the rest of my family. My family situation is messy. I, 25F, was engaged 4 years ago to my high school sweetheart. My fiancé cheated on me with my sister, 28F. We had never had a good relationship even as kids. So after I found out, I went scorched earth both of them. She was so in love with my fiancé. But he dumped her within 2 weeks and was back trying to get me to forgive him. I didn't. My parents were initially on my side. But my sister had a nervous breakdown after she was dumped and was hospitalized, so they changed. They're tuned to, it's over now and you can't be mad forever. So I dumped them, too, and went to grad school on the other side of the country. My grandfather was livid with the whole thing, disowned my sister, and chewed out my parents. Sometimes it felt like he was the only one who was on my side and understood. I was able to get my job to let me work remotely and moved back to take care of him when he got sick last fall, and I was devastated when he passed a couple of months ago. I had been in limited contact with my parents since I came back, mostly because I didn't want to be an obstacle to my dad seeing my grandfather, but with the understanding that any discussion of my sister or what happened would end that. It turns out that my grandfather left me virtually everything. He left enough for my father to cover a debt and some token stuff for a couple of other relatives. But he wrote letters for everyone and did a videotape with his attorney explaining what his intentions were. I knew that he had done well for himself, but he lived a pretty simple lifestyle, so I didn't realize how much money and assets he really had. I would give it all up to have my papa back, but even after taxes it is set for life money. My parents are pretty mad about it. One of the reasons stated for cutting them out was how disappointed my grandfather was with how they had treated me growing up versus my sister, and over the fiancé debacle. There were other reasons, but that's what they're fixated on. The will is pretty airtight apparently. So my parents want me to do the right thing and share it equally between me, them, and my sister. Their argument is that I don't need it. I make more than both of them combined, and this would allow them to retire. My sister is not doing great and can't hold a job, so this would ensure she has something for when my parents pass. I don't want to. My grandfather's wishes were crystal clear, and also I kind of don't feel like doing more than the minimum for any of them. They've been telling me that I'm being vindictive because of a mistake years ago. I can't deny there might be a little vindictiveness there. I don't want them to suffer necessarily, but I also don't feel like they deserve my help. NTA, I'm so sorry your papa has gone. He sounds very loving and interesting by the way you speak about him here. That said, set your family connections on fire and walk away. That's what he would have wanted. And he granted you the means to do so. Walk tall. You've earned this. My grandfather's wishes were crystal clear. Indeed. And you parents are, again, showing how awful they are by trying to emotionally manipulate you into going against those clear wishes. Your parents were free to patch up these relationships while your grandfather was alive. They didn't, and these are the consequences. NTA. NTA, don't share money with your truly terrible family. They don't deserve it. Take a nice, long vacation, and cut them off completely. NTA. If it isn't the consequences of their own actions coming back to bite them. If only any of them had cared about doing the right thing when your sister pulled her BS. It would be a disservice to your grandfather to ignore his expressly detailed and outlined wishes. You aren't being vindictive. It's literally what he wanted. Anything they are suffering from isn't yours to fix or carry for them. Edit. Grammar mistakes. You know what? It's okay for you to feel a bit petty and vindictive. That incident with your sister was traumatizing for you. And the people who should have supported you took the side of the perpetrator. You are entitled to feel a bit smug that the offenders have received their just rewards as a consequence of their actions. Doesn't it make you wonder what your mother's response would have been if her husband had slept with her sister? We all know the answer. Of course. You keep every single penny of that inheritance. Your papa felt so strongly about his choices that he took the time to make documentation to explain his decisions. You must honor that. My condolences on your loss. Big virtual hugs coming your way. I encourage you to block the three of them for your own mental and emotional health. Anything they want to say to you can be said to your attorney. NTA. NTA. He left it to you for a reason. I'm sorry for everything you went through with your family. You may want to get a lawyer involved. NTA. What you do with your inheritance is up to you. Don't let your parents lay a guilt trip on you. As you said, his wishes were crystal clear. And he went above and beyond to make that so. To go against that would be a betrayal of those wishes. Your parents shouldn't be relying on you to fund their retirement, and your sister is an adult and should be looking out for herself. You got over your ex. She should be able to as well. NTA. This was not a simple mistake. Your sister didn't trip over a crack and land on your fiancé. She made a conscious choice to be involved with him. As for your parents, they could have supported her mental health without condoning her actions. Beyond all that, toxic is toxic. Be it the relationships we find or family. People shouldn't get a pass just because you happen to share genes. It was your grandfather's wishes and you are honoring those. Just like he honored you in life. NTA. Here's a fun hypothetical. How would these people treat you if you weren't rich? Oh, wait. We don't have to wonder. We have 25 years of data on that subject. If they didn't treat you well then, don't treat them well now. I spent my 30s supporting half a dozen family members in a different country. BC I got out and they didn't. All THST ever happened was more rudeness anytime I said no to more money. Then tragic sob stories. Then I gave in, sent more money, and the whole cycle would repeat. All I got in return was them hiding my dead mother's jewelry from me when she passed. You have no obligation to lift a single finger to help people who slept with your partner or sided with the person who did. None. Zero. Go live a lovely life and leave these as a distant memory and a valuable lesson. Blood doesn't make family. Behavior does. Don't give them a cent. And don't make them think you will. They will twist your words and intentions to make you the bad guy. They already see you as such. NTA. If you can have a lawyer draft up a cease and desist letter for just in case they go bonkers and try to publicly shame, guilt you into giving them $. Have it filed away and ready. Papa would have included them if they were better parents to their child. Simple as that. None of their whining or reasoning will change your childhood trauma. Go live how you want. Go enjoy life now that you can. Lol and heck. If you need a travel buddy that can cook, I got you. Cold sweat smile. He videoed a will because he knew they would try to contest it. Keep it as were his wishes. Karma's a bitch. The cherry on top others aren't mentioning is that you were taking care of him when he died. Your parents, even knowing that he had money they'd stand to inherit, couldn't be bothered. Of course you're justified in cutting contact. I wouldn't say a single word to them without going through an attorney. NTA. INTA. Do not give a dime. NTA. They screwed you over with that fiancé issue. Now they want to do it again regarding your late grandfather's money. Just want to add, I teared up a little regarding you and your grandfather being there for each other. NTA. Nope. You've already cut them out of your life and they are only coming back to get that inheritance. Don't share one penny, especially after how they treat you. Karma a bitch sometimes, and they are now reaping what they sowed. Plus, why would you share your inheritance with family who speak to you like this? They put you down and make you feel like an hoping you'd cave in and do the right thing. Doing the right thing is honoring your grandpa's will, and if they need an explanation, show them that statement from your grandpa's will. NTA. My condolences for your grandfather. But this was his request and you should honor that. Plus, your family is learning a very expensive lesson. Hopefully, they grasp a shred of having a conscience. Enjoy your life op. Follow your grandfather's wishes. You're NTA if you do that. You don't owe them anything. I am so sorry about your papa. It sounds like he was a stable, loving person in your life. It is hard saying goodbye to that person. Wasn't the renewed contact so your father could spend time with his father? Weren't they forbidden from mentioning your sister? Please go back to your new life and live it to its fullest. NTA. NTA. Not their money, not their wishes. Do the right thing. You're doing the right thing by respecting your grandpa's wishes. Don't need it. Extra money never hurt anyone. I don't want to. And you don't have to. Go live your life and go and see with these people. I kind of don't feel like doing more than the minimum for any of them. What you do for them is your prerogative. You don't owe them anything. Because of a mistake years ago. It wasn't a mistake. It was a conscious decision which had lasting consequences and impact. This is part of those consequences. My sister is not doing great and can't hold a job. So this would ensure she has something for when my parents pass. Not your job to enable cheaters who can't grow up and be adults. Also, don't feel like they deserve my help. They don't. You do you. There's no saying giving any money to them now would be helpful at all. They could just squander it. Keep it with you, and if a true emergency arises, like a medical one, you can help them. NTA. The assets were left to you. Even if you had a splendid relationship with your parents and sister, you still don't owe them anything. I was in a sort of similar situation where I was left the bulk of an estate and there was an unhappy relative. We did not have the amount of background trauma you did, though we were not close. The best thing I did, though I didn't realize it at the time, was to have the lawyer talk with the aggrieved relative, who then understood there was nothing they could do about the will. I then went no contact with them. It sounds like yours have accepted the will as airtight, so I suggest going no contact with them. If they continue to reach out, say any discussion will have to be passed on through your attorney. And now that your grandfather has dies, I suggest moving away again. Sorry for your loss.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.